Happy birthday, Brian! I Got Kings, or whatever you want to be called nowadays. This is Dragon Quest. And I'm going to be playing Dragon Quest 1 because apparently it's the only one that doesn't have the bullshit in terms of like the combat system because there's only one character. So I'd have to worry about how to... Oh, holy shit. Jesus Christ. I thought that the speakers would have been muted. I guess not. But I can completely hear them. Usually when I plug in my microphone, it mutes the speakers and I don't have the, like, headphones on so I can't hear it. But unfortunately the audio is playing through the speakers, so I'm going to have to get the speakers down a bit so that they don't go through the microphone. There you go. But yeah, this is a game that I Got Kings obsesses over. Well, a franchise that I Got Kings obsesses over. It's basically his religion, so I decided, well, I'm going to play it just for I Got Kings' birthday. So, yeah, happy birthday to I Got Kings. If you don't know who he is, he's a YouTube content creator, and he's also a Twitch streamer, so say hello to him and tell him happy birthday, because he's a nice guy. So, I actually started playing this game a bit. I'm not gonna like restart. I actually started this just for a video. Yep, I mean, he's not really a descendant of Erdrick, he's a relative of Bruce Lee. That's who he is. He's Bruce Lee's relative, and he's basically arrived to eliminate communism in the Dragon Quest universe. That's the story of this game, people. Please defeat the communists, kill them all, chill them like, yep, I'll get the job done. You don't need to give me tons of dialogue. I can do this pretty simply myself. Right, you have to, in this game, because this game is so old, when you press A to actually interact with things, you actually get a menu. And then you have to navigate to what you want to do. Like, you could go to door, but it doesn't do anything. There's no door. So why do I have to, like, do this? I don't know. Because obviously I'm not going to go to door. Or you can go to stats, I guess. But yeah, you have to go to search. And then you open it, and you'll get money. You have to do this for every single treasure chest. Every single one. Because if you don't, you won't be able to open the treasure chests. And you have to do this with doors as well. Brilliant game design. But this is an old game, so I let it off, you know? But if that happened today, I'd be losing my fucking shit. But yeah. We are playing Dragon Quest. This is a game that Brian and the Jola team love. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Dragon Quest isn't really a series that I'm a huge fan of. Like, I played Dragon Quest 9 and I fucking hated it. It was one of the worst JRPGs I ever played in my life. But, yeah, I never wanted to go back to Dragon Quest after playing that game because, well, it was miserable. And because of that, I just felt that I just didn't feel compelled to go back and give it another go. But also because of the old school turn-based combat system, which I just can't tolerate nowadays. But apparently this one, you only have one character the whole game, and that makes it a little bit more tolerable. Jesus Christ, I'm missing every single hit. You are kidding, man, I have to flee. Oh, you joking, man. Like, come on. What is with the accuracy rating? Chin is dead. No. Well, I'm getting... no, but I'm gonna have to, alright. Yeah, that was a little bullshit. Like, fucking missing twice in a row. Like, and then I have to run, can't escape, and die. Can't blame me for that, people. Like, the game was just unfair at that point. The game was just taking the bloody piss. Like, I should be able to kill them, but the evasion rating is absolutely insane. But that's Dragon Quest for you, people. It's a game for people who just like to suffer. Once again, can I actually hit the guy? What is with the hit rate in this game? How many times am I going to miss? Fucking hell, man. Oh my god. Is this like the Seventh Saga where I have to basically just grind for like hours and hours and hours on fucking regular slimes, then move on to the next enemy after like getting full experience? I guess it is. So I'm gonna have to spend the first fucking hour, or several hours, just grinding. Like, so like mandatory grinding it seems, but like I'm not too far away from the start, and I'm encountering enemies that I just can't hit. Because my character apparently is so bloody incompetent that he can't actually hit a single enemy. Like, why? Right. I can hit slimes and they tend to miss me. I mean, slimes are easy. You gain 1 experience from them, so I have to kill 4 slimes to level up. Maybe then I'll have enough accuracy to actually hit the fucking enemies and not die. Why the fuck do I put myself through this bullshit? You know, there was a time where I could have played games like this back in the day when I was a kid, but not now. I just don't have the fucking patience for this shit anymore. I just really don't. Like, but this is just one of those games that's just going to take ages, just simply because of the grind that you have to do. And usually I don't mind grinding, but in a game like this, I do. Look, miss again. What is with this evasion rating? Like, what is with it? It's like every time it's just you just miss the enemy. This is old school RPGs, people. You know, I'm past the point of just giving a shit already. Like, this game is just not... I just don't fucking care. You know? Like, the thing about this game, and here's the thing. And I've watched Brian play this series, so I've seen this game, and to me, it is just... It's so unbelievably generic. And the thing is, I think if you're playing this as like an early RPG, maybe not this one, but like the ones that, well, I don't know, it's probably a lot easier to swallow. But if you're playing like, if you play a lot of RPGs and then you go to Dragon Quest, it's like, it's just so boring. Fucking finally, my god. This game has a lot of bullshit early on. You really have to do farming. Because if you don't, you'll fucking miss every attack and then you'll get killed. Like, what the fuck is that? I get that it's the first RPG, but come on now. Does the game really expect us to just grind like this for like hours and then just enter and re-enter town to heal and then just do more grinding? Is this what it was all about back in the day? I guess so. But that's the compromise I have to do because I don't want to play a game with tons of Pi members when I have an old school turn-based combat system. Because I can't put up with that shit. But already the game's fucking making me suffer. Oh, come on, just give me an encounter so I can gain a level. Right. Hit the bastard. I mean, I know I should have patience, but, you know, like, I don't. And it's like, the thing about Dragon Quest is I know going in what I'm getting. to some degree. I've seen people play. I kind of get to some degree there is a little bit going on. I just think that it's just not for me. Like, the music in this series, like, I mean, this is the world map theme. I'm not saying that. You know, because I'm not saying this because it's chiptune, but I'm saying this because the world map theme in this game, and I just need to basically just stand still for a bit just so I can listen to it. But yeah, the world map theme in this game is just the same fucking thing on repeat constantly. Like, this is the soundtrack. Just listen to it. Right. Maybe not, but yeah. Does it need to say it that much? I don't know. I don't. Let's put it this way. The music is just, to me, it's the most boring type of music. I just don't like the music that much in this game. And music for me is a big deal. Like, if a game has an amazing soundtrack, it can save it. But this game, it's just like, you know, the soundtrack isn't really that interesting. The world itself, to me, it's just generic. And so far, the game is kind of annoying because I'm getting bummed. But, I mean, I will give it some credit. It was the first RPG. So, you know, I mean, obviously it's not going to be... Well, it's the first JRPG, not the first RPG, obviously. That was Dungeons & Dragons. But, like, this is the first JRPG, so obviously it's going to be primitive. I get that. But it's a case of, like, do I want to play, like, a game like this? I love how Bamboo Pole is somehow better than what I've got. But, yeah, like, that's the thing, it's just like this music, for example, it's just like, it's all generic music to me. But I think that's the thing, it's the first JRPG, and I just don't see a reason to just go back to it. That's why I've never bothered with this series. I just never did see a reason to go back to it. But, you know. But here we are. I'm doing this for Brian. Because Brian wants me to play a Dragon Quest game, so I'm playing a Dragon Quest game for him. Not for me. As far as I'm concerned, this is just really boring. Like, it's just not really something that I'm, like, that bothered about. I could play any other RPG. And I'm playing this, you know? It's like, I could be playing Valkyrie Profile 2, I could be playing Star Ocean 6, I could be playing fucking Grandia 2, but here I am playing this, you know? There's so many great RPGs out there that, you know, oh shit. Better get a fucking level after that. Jesus fucking Christ. I need to use heal. Right now. Right, can I use my spell please? Because otherwise I'm gonna get absolute... I don't have any MP? Oh, well we're dead then boys. We're miles away. Absolutely miles away. So how the hell are we supposed to fucking get back and heal when we're this far away? I don't know. But, yeah, there's the inn. Well, let's just talk to this innkeeper. Rest up. And yeah, we're gonna go leave the town, and then we're gonna just do more grinding. This is the game. Because we can't progress with the game because we're so underleveled. Maybe now I can actually do some decent damage because I've bought the bamboo thing, or bamboo thing. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like, of course not. Of course I wouldn't know where I'm supposed to go. Like, do I ever know where I'm supposed to go in a video game? Of course not. So, you know. Like, I don't know if you guys think this is an interesting video or not. I mean, I personally think this is a terrible video. I think this video is very uninteresting and unentertaining. Like, you probably best not watch this one, guys. This one's not for you. This is just a... This video is just for one guy and one guy only. It's not really for anybody else. If you want to watch something interesting, there's plenty of other videos on my channel. I would recommend my Valkyrie profile to analysis video. That's a good one. Oh, this is where we're supposed to go, isn't it? Oh no, don't tell me. Oh, I have to use the torch, don't I? Right. Torch. No. Use. Right, we've got torches there. Watch me die in this one dungeon. I mean, I'm sure back in the day when this was all there was, it was an amazing game for its time, I'll definitely say that. But it's just like, you know, times have changed and now you have access to so many more better RPGs. Why would you play this one? Unless you really wanted to, like, revisit, like, get a history lesson on old games. Yep. So, what was the point of that? So, basically, we've got to save the world, yada 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 yada, and kill the dragon. Brilliant, isn't it? Like, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, why, like, there's so many great RPGs out there. Like, so many great RPGs out there, like, why would I want to play this one? That's the question, really. It's like, out of all the RPGs, what makes Dragon Quest the one that people want to play? That's the question that I ask myself every single day. Because it just seems to me that, like, I get that this game's popular in Japan, and it's the first, so, like, it's a big deal for that, but, you know, like, I'd just rather play something else at this point, you know? I feel that if you've played Final Fantasy 1, unless you really want to see what a real arcade game is like, there's just no point in playing a game like this. And I think this tells me enough. So, is there a point to this? It doesn't really do a great job at directing you as this one, does it? It's one of those that you have to figure it out. It's an old game in all the worst ways. That's kind of what Dragon Quest is, you know? Well, if I'm honest, I'd much rather play Final Fantasy 1 because at least it's kind of straightforward, you know? But at the same time, this one doesn't have multiple party members, I guess. So the old school turn-based isn't going to be as problematic. But, you know. But look at this maze. Is it really necessary to have a maze like this in the game? I don't fucking know, but I'm just trying to figure out where to go. That's basically all I'm doing. But this song is the same thing over and over and over again. Like, we get it, game. I think this, like, I know Brian likes this soundtrack, but I think personally Dragon Quest music is the most insufferable. Like, I just can't stand it. Like, it's just like so, like, they go hard on the brass and all that, but in all the worst ways possible. Like, it's all this light-hearted brass music and just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it gets old. It's very grating. I think that's the best way to describe it. Like, what I'd rather listen to is something that is, like, has a little bit more going on than just, like, I don't know, like, it's like, for example, Final Fantasy 1's soundtrack is a lot better, in my opinion, because it has music that just hits you, like the Temple of Chaos music, for example. That guy's tooting on a weed pipe. But yeah, like, if I was playing this game back as a kid, like, if I was, like, back in my... And I'm not just talking about, like... Because here's the thing. I can play old games. But the thing about it is that this is the sort of game that if I was, like, still in my teenage years, or if I was a kid, I'd probably really like this game. I'd probably play it. I'd probably give it more of a chance. But because I'm an adult and I've played so many RPGs, and this isn't the only game that I feel this way about. You know? There's other games that I actually feel this way about, but some of those games I actually played as a kid. Final Fantasy 1 is one of those games, believe it or not. You know? The games that I was fortunate... Well, the games that were fortunate enough to have been played when I was a kid. You know? This wasn't one of them. And if it was, you know, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, nowadays, as an adult, I don't have time to play games like this. I don't want to go out of my way to play games like this, you know? Because it's just miserable to me. You know, it's just not, like, and that's the thing, it's like, as a kid, yeah, but as a kid, it's like, who hasn't played a lot of RPGs, this would probably be amazing. But when you've played a lot of RPGs, it's just kind of like, you just want something different, because you've seen it all before, you know? And that's the thing, that's the issue. With RPGs in particular, it's just like, yeah, I don't mind the old action RPGs, because they're actually kind of interesting. But when it comes to, like, these types of games where it's just like these old turn-based games, like, it's tricky. I like the old ATB-based systems. I like them, like Final Fantasy 4 and 5. Those are great. But when it has like this old school turn-based, it's like very hard to go back to. Alright, I need to heal up now. Right, isn't there supposed to be a town or something around here? No, there's something up here, I don't know what that is. But it's something. It's a very small town, I guess. Right, what's this guy have to say? No, I'd never guessed that's a weapon shop. Oh, I can't afford any of this because I'm poor as fuck. Is there a place I can save the game here? Right. There we go. We've saved the game. Surely there is a church or something that I can go and save at. Oh, for God's sake, really? So we can't go there. So, where can I go to save the game? I don't even know where I can save the game. Ah, there we go. Why do I have to go through a poisonous swamp just to get to the fucking... What the fuck, game? Game developers are sadistic motherfuckers, it seems. Like, I mean, it's like Dirge of Cerberus with the freaking barrel. It's just like, we're going to make you go through poisonous swamp if you want to talk to this guy who lives in the fucking poisonous swamp. Oh no, and you have to go through 2 squares of it, because if you go that way, you'll leave the area. Me trying to be smart, and the game's like, nope, you're going to take damage, buddy. You can't go in that way. You have to go in this way, the way we want you to go in. Brilliant, innit? Right, here we go. There we go, I have to take damage. Well, all I'm going to say is, this is Dragon Quest. I mean, it is one of those games, isn't it, you know? I mean, for its time, it was probably amazing. I'm not going to fault it. It's just right now, I just don't care enough to play a game like this when there's so many better games out there now. It's that simple. Like, you know? I'm going to die now, yep. What a waste of time. But I just think I'm just not interested right now. I'm not committed. I'm not into it. You know, that's the problem. You know, I have no real interest. But yeah. That's the problem. I just don't have an interest in playing a game like this right now. But if I was younger, I probably would be more open to playing a game like this. But that's the thing, when you get to the point when you played a lot of RPGs and you play something like this, it's just like, it's just, like, how do I explain it? It's just like, you've seen it all before, but this is a game that just makes everything needlessly tedious because of how outdated and antiquated it is and all of its systems are. It's just like you have to do everything, like having to do all the early farming, and basically it hasn't figured itself out yet. It hasn't figured out game design yet, because the game design is so basic level, because they're trying to make the first JRPG, so they're still learning how to make a good game. And because of that, it's very hard to go back to a game like this. And that's the thing, because it's still figuring things out. I mean, you could say the same thing about 3D beat-em-ups on the PlayStation 1, like Rising Zan, or whatever the hell. Or even some of the early PS2 3D beat-em-ups. You could say the same thing about them as well. Like, they were still learning. The thing about it is, though, is I don't want to put myself through that right now. Like, as a kid, I was more open to this sort of thing. I didn't mind old school turn-based as much. I didn't mind playing these old school games and indulging in them. Like, well, RPGs at least. And I do still like some old school RPGs, just games like this, like, I think for me, if I'm going to play an old school RPG, it really has to offer something interesting. That's what I look for in JRPGs now. I look for something interesting. You know, that's kind of what I'm after, and this game just doesn't offer it. It's just more of the same stuff that I've seen many times before. And it just doesn't do it for me. I think that's just the best way to describe it. But yeah, there you go. I Got Kings. There is Dragon Quest 1. I played it for your birthday. Sorry that I didn't enjoy my time playing this game, but you can't blame me, really, can you? Because let's be honest, you know, I'm not as old as you, so I wasn't born with it. I just look at this game as a very antiquated game. It's very dated, very old, and you know, I'm not that bothered about the graphics. It's just like the lack of the quality of life stuff that I'm used to nowadays, and also the fact that it's an old combat system. It's just very hard to go back to, and having to grind and all that. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to spend all this time grinding. I don't mind grinding in a game that has a fun combat system, but in a game like Dragon Quest, no, I don't want to grind in a game like Dragon Quest. But do I want to grind in a game like Valkyrie Profile 2? Absolutely, because the combat system is engaging. This combat system is just too bare bones for me. But I suppose back then there was nothing else. Like, you had Dragon Quest and that was it. So I do get it. I do get why people played this game and enjoyed it, because it was all there was. It was either this or Wizardry or D&D or, you know, one of those games. Like a Calabeth or whatever the fuck. Like, you didn't have much choice. So you went with this because it was probably the most easiest one to get into. And it was Japanese and has Akira Toriyama and all that lot. But the thing is that we've progressed so long now, we've progressed so far now that, you know, I just think there's just better out there, and I'd rather spend my time playing something else, you know, and that the same goes for the rest of the series. Like, I just don't, like, every time I look at it, I just don't see anything that really pulls me in. I kind of get that people like the light-hearted nature of the game, but if I want that, I'll just go play Final Fantasy V, which has an active time battle system, a much better soundtrack, and a cool job system that allows me to customize my setup. Whereas Dragon Quest, everyone's just kind of like more or less fixed for the most part, and it's like, yes, you have Dragon Quest 9, but Dragon Quest 9 has its own problems. Man, I hated that game. I think that game's worse than this, and just simply because this gets away with it because it's old and it's the first, so I can let it slide. And I want to make that clear, I can let it slide. I'm just not enjoying my time because I'm playing an old game. I want people to understand that. But Dragon Quest 9 does no fuck that game. I just hated that game. Like, the first fucking few minutes of Dragon Quest 9 was literally picking up horse manure. Like, come on. Like, I don't want to do that for the first few minutes of the game. I want to get on a fucking train and start punching people with top hats on, and then fucking traveling to a fucking cannibal village and murdering people. You know, that's my kind of game. Not fucking You Are the Chosen One, Go Slay the Dragon. Like, it's been done to death. It's been done to death, and I want something unique. I want something different. And this ain't it. Just personally speaking, this is not the game for me because of that. I mean, but this is the thing that I've tried to say the whole fucking video. If I was maybe like new to gaming or new to RPGs, I probably would play this game and enjoy it and have a different view on it. It's just, I've played so many and I just don't have the patience for this anymore, because as I've grown up, and I want to make this point clear, people, I know I rag on and on and on about old school turn-based and all of this lot, but the thing is, it didn't used to be the case. I didn't used to hate these old antiquated JRPGs. I used to love these games. Like, I played Final Fantasy 1 and loved it, and I feel that if I played this, I'd love it too back in the day. I just don't anymore. My tastes have changed as I've grown older, and I just don't like these types of games anymore, because not only have I played a lot more JRPGs, but at the same time, I feel that even JRPGs in general, my tastes have changed a lot, so I kind of prefer more action games now, like Musou games and 3D beat-em-ups. That's kind of where my tastes have gone to in later years. But JRPGs are still there, and there's still some JRPGs out there that I still enjoy playing, including turn-based ones. People think because I hate old school turn-based means I hate turn-based. No, I just hate the turn-based that's basically you have to select every party member's command before they do anything. I love games like Shadow Hearts, and Final Fantasy X's combat system is great as well, and Legend of Dragoon's combat system, well, That's a weird one. I mean, but at least it's modern. I can play Legend of Dragoon, but Legend of Dragoon is an interesting one because that is the childhood game. That is the game that got me into this genre. But at the same time, this ties in with Dragon Quest 1 because Dragon Quest 1, like Legend of Dragoon, it's a game that I would enjoy more as a kid than I would as an adult. And the thing about Legend of Dragoon is when I first played the demo as a kid, I was so fucking keen to play more of the game and I always wanted to get a copy. And then when I finally did get a copy, I was an adult and my tastes had changed. And yeah, it took me ages to get through it and my opinion of the game kind of changed and I saw the game a little differently. But at the same time, I still have a lot of respect for the game. My relationship with Legend of Dragoon is complicated, people. It really is, but like, it's not a game that I would recommend to people just like this if you played a lot of JRPGs. And this is in the same boat. This is the game that you play for your first RPG, not for your 56th RPG or your 700th RPG, you know? If it's your first, this is a game that you can play. There's other games though, but for me it was Legend of Dragoon, but at the same time Legend of Dragoon is the same boat. If it's your first RPG, give it a go. If you know, I highly recommend it. If it's not, and you've played lots of RPGs, you might want to pass up on it, because it's very PS1 era sort of JRPG, and it's got a lot of the bloat and stuff, but if you ask me, it's the quintessential PS1 era JRPG that is turn-based at least. Like, I mean, I would say that like Valkyrie Profile and Star Ocean 2 do a lot more, obviously, but they are more, they're more different. Like, if you're looking for something different, you go to them, but if you're looking for like the more traditional, I would say Legend of Dragoon is the one for PS1. But yeah, I feel that I've talked enough about Dragon Quest. I just don't feel that there's any point in me playing any more of this. I just don't, like, as I say, I'm trying to get the appeal. I just don't have the drive in me to really just play a game like this, because to me it's exhausting. I feel that's the best way to describe it. Like, my brain's turning off and I have to switch it back on every 5 seconds just to make sure I can keep my attention, because my attention span is so unbelievably low nowadays that, you know, when you have the lack of quality of life stuff, I just switch off. And for me to actually switch on, something has to grab me, and because this game is so generic, nothing really grabs me. That's the problem. But like I say, I don't want to paint an entirely negative picture of this game because of how old it is, and I do want to respect the fact that it is an old game, but I just, at the same time, I need to express why I don't play this series and why I just can't get into this series, because I just don't feel anything. Like, it doesn't really give me anything because I wasn't brought up with it. And if you're not brought up with it, I think it's a bit like with Brian and Pokemon. Like, Brian playing Pokemon, if he wasn't brought up with it, he won't get it. I was brought up with it, so I get it. He wasn't, so he doesn't get it. I'm in the same boat with this. I feel like the exact same situation. So I get that. But the thing about it is that, you know, like, because this, like, Pokemon, for me, like, at least it has a unique aspect with the catching of the Pokemon, which has a bit of a personalization element, whereas this doesn't really, and that's the one thing for me that is a bit of a problem, because I'm more about personalization, whereas I don't know what Brian's into, but, like, for me, personalization is a big deal, so having that's a huge deal, and this has less. This is just as generic as you can get because it's the first. So it's a very hard sell for me for that reason alone. So yeah, I've talked enough about Dragon Quest. But yes, happy birthday, I Got Kings. This is basically for you. I'm probably only going to show it to you on your Discord or whatever the hell, because I don't really want to put this in people's sub feed because I don't think it's worth watching, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, thanks for watching if you did, and I'll see you all later.